Welcome to Season 2, Episode 9 of Stoked. My name is Brian. With me, Jeremy.
That's me.
And Chris.
Hey, guys.
This show is about Star Trek Online, a video game. Let's talk.
That sounds pretty. That makes it sound epic.
It's kind of epic.
So what we figure you do is instead of making the episode itself epic, you just make it sound epic. And
You got it right there, big guy.
Because now you are hooked.
All right, so
we got stuff coming up.
we got stuff.
We're going to talk about stuff.
We got news. We're gonna get math. We're gonna go over the ship energy levels.
Another crazy math segment from the J-Man.
That's right. I believe it's actually entitled "Ship Energy Levels and You."
That's what I'm going to title it. Yeah.
Oh, good times. And of course, we got some cool videos at the end. All right.
And a couple screenshots, too. We haven't done those in a while. There's a couple good ones to show you.
Are you teasing me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have those.
No, we have.
We have them. We haven't shown them before. Like, we haven't done screenshots in the show.
In a
That's
while.
what I'm saying, in a while.
So you're not teasing me then?
No.
Well, we're teasing. Just not you.
Just not me.
Yeah.
That was part of the teaser.
All right.
All right.
So let's talk about some news.
All right.
All right. So let's start off with the Season 1 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's here.
It is.
It's called Common Ground.
Yep.
According to this page that I'm reading off of here.
Nice. Right there.
We're going to have the complete patch notes as well as a launch day FAQ that was posted, and we'll include those in the show notes.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
I mean, the season one, the big thing about season one was a ton of new stuff was introduced, but also a ton of new stuff kind of rolled out into the Cryptic store too, which is an interesting aspect of the story. Probably the bigger long-term impact to the game is a lot of the new stuff introduced to the store. But
what about the billion changes?
Yeah.
It says right here there are a billion changes. Billion, and I kid you not, is in italics, you guys.
Well, okay. You think about this. Respecs, that's a change right there. So now you can respec your skills, which was the,
I wasn't going to go through and list every one of the billion. If you go to the patch notes, you know what? Click on it. Do it.
Tell me about these additional new starship skills.
Okay. They're like attack vectors and I'm sorry, I forget the exact
Holy
names.
God in heaven.
Yeah, it's a long list.
There's like a billion changes here.
That's what I said.
Isn't that long? It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, those guys are working it.
And that's all in this one patch.
All right.
Yeah, it's a big patch.
That's killer.
So
That's
each
a
of these
lot
new
changes.
starship skills is basically what they were designed to replace is the fact that the escort ship type skills were improving your attack vector powers, like attack pattern delta and things like that.
That
But
was the
some people-
nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like, yeah, sometimes your ship power skills can
Attack pattern delta
modify
is
your
important, Brian.
attack pattern delta.
That's
under
important.
your-
I'm
in
done
your-
talking.
In your gamma blood quadrant, and then
Hold on. Wait, nerdy is not bad.
no, I'm just why was I saying anything was bad?
Jeremy assumed.
I was just saying.
Jeremy assumed.
That's how Jeremy sounds.
You know
Jeremy
what
sounded like a
assuming does?
nerdy version of Bill Murray. That's what he sounded like.
An awesome.
All right.
That's rad, right? That's rad. All right, go ahead and talk.
No, I was just going to say that they put these skills in so that you can now fly whatever ship type you want and still benefit those skills that were previously
We're kind of limited
Only
to the escorts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. Also, a crap ton of new content, just in general.
Tons of new content.
including The Cure, which we gave a little bit of a preview of last episode.
And you just played the Big Dig, right?
It's about time we got some good emo music from the 80s.
In fact, I think we're going to have a little bit of footage from the Big Dig at the end in our media segment of this episode.
Is the event at Deep Space Nine part of this season 1 too? Or did that just come out around the same time?
The DS9 fleet action?
I wouldn't call it attached to like the big Borg storylines and everything, but it is additional content that came out with season 1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, as a new fleet action.
I'm looking forward to
Federation only. A lot of the new fleet actions that came out also have a Klingon sort of mirror version that they can play, but the DS9 one is Fed only.
Like I said, in
but
the previous
Klingons can do the crystalline entity.
Yep.
They can do the minefield. They can do almost everything, I think, except that one.
So what you're saying is Klingons are allowed to play a game now.
Yeah, finally.
Nice. Very nice.
Play a game.
And that's awesome and everything. But pajamas.
Yeah.
That makes it right there.
You do get pajamas now.
Off-duty
when you're
uniforms,
not fighting. Now, I'm a little upset that I have to stop being on the ground and fighting.
No, you can.
Wait, I can?
You can wear these whenever you want. They're called off-duty uniforms, but you can
wear them wherever?
Yeah.
Oh, then forget it. I'm thrilled. This is perfect. Thank you, Cryptic.
When I wrote space pajamas in our show notes, that's seriously what they look like. It looks like
they're space pajamas.
Oh, I should have got a screenshot of mine because I've got.
I haven't tried them yet.
I got a big robe.
Yeah.
You got a big toss series, like from the original series.
Oh, you got like a Vulcan robe thing going on.
It looks
See,
good.
I want like a onesie is what I want. I want to be dressed like a
Like
bear,
my son Dylan.
with like a little thing on my
dude.
head, a little
I'm
hoodie,
so
a little
jealous of-
onesie. Wouldn't that be great?
Dylan wears that all the time. I'm always jealous. That he's
Dude,
wearing that.
finding a onesie for an adult is friggin' hard. I've looked high and low
I
for
finally
an
found
adequate
Underoos.
onesie.
Check out fetish shops. Not that I'd know anything about that.
No,
but,
dude, I want like a Transformers onesie is what I want. Wouldn't that be
okay.
rad?
Yeah.
Like a Gen 1
Not like a faux
Transformers
leather one,
onesie.
you kink master.
No, that's not what. Never mind.
All right.
But
Or
he
like-
was talking
or like-
about with the furry ears and everything.
Or
so
like a
that's-
onesie with like Leonard Nimoy's head on my chest.
A onesie that goes up over your head and gives you Spock ears, little Vulcan ears. That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
So
Also
but those aren't in the
creepy.
can we talk about what they rolled out in the C-store? For some reason, I find this interesting. I'm curious to see what you guys think as far as a value
I don't
standpoint
know
goes.
if I quite
Okay.
understand some of this. So
Right.
the bridge variant. So you get different bridges.
You do
Yeah,
you
more
do-
options.
There's
Basically.
it's basically one bridge, which is like a on a theme kind of.
Yeah, and then
So
just modified
it
layouts.
looks a little, which you might not like, Brian. Oh, I
Looks a
guess there's multiple bridges, and then each bridge comes with a pack of variant colors.
Yeah,
three
yeah.
usually.
And including the Klingon one, which looks pretty sweet. There's also a new ship. Before we go on from the bridges, I just kind of wanted to see what you thought, Brian, if you noticed. Now, these are actually done better than they were in the movie, but these are like little holographic projectile J.J. Abrams style
Yeah, I know.
displays.
I know. I hate them. I hate them, hate them, hate them.
They're done better, though.
Yeah, they're better. But you know what I don't
is
like
that
about
better?
them? You know what I don't like about
Because they have LCARs on it? Is that
Because
why it's
J.J.
better?
Abrams wasn't involved.
And
No,
there's-
because
there's less
because
lens
they're
because
flare?
you
cars.
walk up to them and they have like this
Yeah.
3D beveled glass edge to them, and
Yeah,
they have
they're not
actual
they're not
L
just
cars.
like water spray whatever things that J.J. Abrams did. No, and they're
yeah,
and
glass
it's L
sheets.
cars, and the look and feel of the L cars is really nice on those bridge shots. I just simply don't like how un-Star Trekky the rest of it looks. Like the chairs don't look like Star Trek chairs. The desks don't look like Star Trek desks, except for in this shot here, that looks like a sickbay desk.
Yeah.
It looks like a stereotypical sickbay
or
desk.
maybe an engineering console.
Yeah, and that looks great, except not on the bridge. It just does not look
I hear
like
ya.
a Star Trek bridge. The L cars helps a
Right.
ton.
It
but
does.
It just doesn't feel
You know
right,
what
so
my-
I'm not going to spend
Well,
time
but
on
you
the
have
bridge.
to see. The thing is what's difficult, I think, for them, because I agree with you. And there's aspects to it look L Carsian, I guess, and you know, or they nail the L cars, but it looks Star Trek-ish. But I think the problem is too, it's 40 years past anything we've seen. So how do you take something 40 years and evolve it, but still make it look like the original source?
Here's the thing. You know what car? So it's 2010, I've heard.
I think
so 40 years ago would be 1970.
Mm-hmm.
Cars nowadays look not that much
No,
different.
the interiors of cars are vastly different.
Interiors.
A
That's
little.
what this is.
A
This is the
little.
interior.
That's the car's interior.
I mean, vastly different. Seat, steering wheel,
dude,
dashboard.
Dude, vastly though. Like
well,
stuff everywhere, new sizes.
it's still
bucket
captain's
seats.
chair.
Yeah, but you know
view
what?
screen and
Let
comms.
me ask you this.
All right.
What would you rather have? An
Okay.
all wood grained interior, sleek finish from
Well,
like let's
we're
say
not-
no, hold on. From
right.
the 1960s
As my
with
bridge?
cool odometers and awesomeness, or do you want it looking like a 2009 Toyota Corolla?
Hey, I'm not
you
saying
have, you have two options here. Which one do you want? And then
you
apply
misunderstand.
that to the
You
Star Trek
misunderstand.
bridge.
Chris isn't saying you're wrong about the value difference. Chris
You're
is saying they just look
saying
different.
that this year in the Star Trek universe is like 2010 here, where everyone designing the interiors of ships and vehicles has lost all design.
No, I'll be totally
sensibility.
honest with you. I'm lost about what either of you are talking about.
All right, we'll go on. I think the Klingon bridge looks pretty good.
Here's my problem with bridges.
It looks like it looks like a factory,
you go to your bridge to do
but I guess that's kind of right.
what?
Trade, hang
Sure,
out.
but that's just a workaround
You say that.
for.
Yeah.
I know. No, I agree. But you say that.
And I've gone to my bridge. And
You
I've
go
just
to your
hung out.
bridge. Dudes in our fleet are inviting me to the bridge all the time.
Yeah,
But really, I mean, you've got a huge chunk of development time being spent on pushing out this content that really doesn't do anything.
Honestly,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
But you're making a call on what kind of.
And why would I pay real life money, essentially, which is what the C-store
Well, you don't
stuff
have
is
to
for.
buy it.
No,
And
but
you know
why
what?
would I?
And you're making an assumption that this takes them a lot of time. You're probably right.
It
but
probably doesn't take that much
It
time.
probably, if
No,
they
it
were able to
probably
throw
doesn't.
this in, this is not like this is like a, hey, X person, do you have extra 3 days? Yeah, I got this ground mission done. I got an extra 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
And then they figure, okay, cool, we'll throw it in the C-store, make a couple extra bucks.
Or some guy comes in and, hey, look
a good
what
way
I
to
made
go.
over the weekend. Can you sell it on the C-store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like that bug that's driving you crazy isn't getting fixed.
It's not
No,
awesome.
it's always
like,
different people, especially for something like this because that's primarily art. and not a lot of coding, if any.
Yeah. I mean, it's really quick to make. It's obviously something that should be cheap, unlike, say, a voice pack for the computer that was nothing but Brian's voice, which would obviously be epic, important, and very, very vital to do.
That'd be hard to sell because it'd be
Expensive as
nearly
hell.
invaluable.
Expensive as hell.
Yeah.
As hell, you guys.
They also offered now a retrain in the C store for 400 cryptic points.
You get some free respecs as you level up, but if that's just not enough for you, you can spend money to buy more.
Yeah.
You can also buy a captain
Don't
rename.
you get it? You get it every major level.
Yeah, every time you get a promotion.
I don't know why you would buy this unless you're just impatient.
Or unless let's say you're already an admiral. You're never going to get another promotion.
Oh, right. Well,
Yeah.
as far as you know.
Now, do we have any shots of the actual ship variants that they're selling?
Here, let's look. We got one shot here. I'll show you what we got.
They only actually pushed out this one ship variant.
It's
with
just this one
patch.
so far?
There's more coming, but
Okay.
this is the only one that made it.
That's
and this
all right.
is a new variation for, I believe, the Sovereign type.
It does. It looks like
It's like a sovereign with Vulcan ears.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a pointy sovereign.
And we've got more pictures later on. If you want to skip down to those, I put them in the media section that shows some of the underside of it as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Want to do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
do
It's,
that. I'll load
it's
it up. You
actually
guys keep
kind
talking
of
while I load it up.
it's kind of alien looking, to be honest. This is almost. It strikes me as something that might have been inspired by a non-human race to put into the Federation design.
Sure.
Yeah, it's one of those in that.
Oh yeah, like
It's
they
very-
hired a
Right.
non-human designer.
Yeah.
Non-human.
I suppose it was eventually supposed to happen.
So there's a shot from
The side over there.
with very bad lighting. But try the next one. It might be a better one.
This is America.
Yeah, there we go.
There's a good one.
That shows a good underside shot of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, going right past Planet America there.
Yep.
God, I love Planet America.
Yeah, it looks like a weapon. It looks like
The Sovereign was already kind of evil.
Have you guys seen
Yeah,
the
the Sovereign was super evil looking.
Have you guys seen the pictures of like the new US carriers?
Like, you mean real world?
Yeah.
Why would I care about real world stuff?
Because they look like those ships.
Right. Hey-o.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't find a picture of it anyways.
Of course you can't because it's real.
So, but speaking of
He's
ships,
looking on the
there's
internet for
also-
something like
they
this.
introduced a new Klingon, I believe it's tier 2 cruiser called the Katonko.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like a Tonka truck, so I kind of like that. And they also put in additional customization options for several, I think every Klingon ship.
Probably.
So there's always at least one ship type variant that you can do. So that's something good.
That's kinda
Klingons
cool.
have been asking it for, but it's only one variant per ship still. There's still the
Yeah.
redheaded stepchild of the
They always will.
the
be.
player base.
Oh,
I think
come
so.
on. Come on.
Hopefully
They're-
they'll continue to get more and they won't
No,
be
I
charged
hope
for
no.
it.
They're a bunch of turds.
Are you kidding? I'm done with the Klingons. Stop working on the Klingons. Move on to the Romulans. Let me play Cardassians or Romulans.
I wouldn't entirely.
I think what their
be
approach
against
should
that.
be-
or just
is-
give more Federation content.
Is make the Klingons make the Klingons as deep as they are right now. Make that go a little farther with it, and then make that like the bar, and then bring every other race to that level. So build out the Cardassians, build out the Romulans, build out the Breen, everybody out to that level. So while there's not a crap ton of, and then make the main story, the meat,
The
is
Federation.
the Federation. And all these other characters that you can play,
Huh.
and they each have their own individual kind of aspects, and so that way you don't spend an entire lifetime playing that race. You just play it, and then you move on to the next race, but you always go back to your Fed. I don't know. It might work.
It might if everybody wanted to play a Federation, but there are entire swaths of the audience out there that just don't like Federation.
And they're probably playing the wrong video game, and it's easy as.
But this is Star Trek Online, not Starfleet
Bingo.
Online. I know all the
Right,
shows
yeah.
are centric
So?
on the Federation,
So?
and all the movies are, but
You know what? If you don't like Doom, then you probably if you don't like flashlights, but you like Doom, then you shouldn't play Doom 3. It's Doom, but you have to use a
Flashlights.
flashlight, right?
You don't have to use a flashlight,
No,
actually.
you could just,
you can
You don't
fire
have
just
to play
randomly.
only Federation. You don't have to play only Federation.
I'm
it would just
agreeing
suck.
with you here. I'm just
Yeah.
saying the flashlight thing
I mean,
was
I'm just
going
kind
too
of sick
far.
of hearing all these people whine about the Klingons not being playable enough. I don't give an S. And
they
if
were
you don't
billed
like
as
it,
a full alternative faction
but-
to the Federation, and they're not.
yeah,
living
you
up
know
to
what?
that.
But the tax system's supposed to be fair, and I get taxed to hell. It's just the reality of what it's supposed to be and what it is what it is. So now it is what it is. So you work with what it is, and you move the F on and quit bitching. That's my opinion on it.
I came up with just now four.
One,
That's the right number of
okay.
fingers.
All right.
Rebuttals to everything that was just said. Unfortunately, all of them are so racist that if I said them, all of your grandmothers would die.
Oh, don't kill our grandmas, Brian.
I can't do it, you guys.
Look,
both of my grandmothers are dead.
I think it sucks.
I was being racist earlier too.
Oh, okay.
I think it sucks. But it's like after you got a divorce and you found out that you were cheated on the last few months of your relationship, Man, that really sucks, but it is what it is. Let's move on.
So someone in the chat room makes a pretty good point right now. I'd like to see the actual numbers of people playing Federation characters versus playing Klingon characters.
Well, but this is the other side of Chris's argument. Why play a Klingon if they're not a complete faction?
But that would tell you, if like 90% of the people are logging in and making Klingon characters, well then of course Cryptic is going to do more Klingon
You
stuff.
have to make a Federation character to unlock Klingon gameplay. So every single person that plays
that's
a Klingon
true.
has
So
a
for a little
Federation
bit.
character.
So see how many people have Klingon characters past, say, like level like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just go in and see. And if it's like 99%, of course, people seem to want that, so you beef it up. If it's like 20%, like I haven't created a Klingon character. Well, I did, but I didn't do anything.
Same. I go
just
in every now and
sits.
then. I'm like, yeah, I think eventually, when I get done playing the other one, I'll jump over here and do something. But then it's like, I get to that point, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Well, this
I hear
actually
you.
segues into another thing that they introduced with Season 1, and that is Federation versus Federation PvP.
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of the primarily Klingon players have been voicing their opinions strongly against this, saying that basically they'll have to fight only Klingons now because Federation
that's
won't
gonna be
want to
hard.
PvP them. It's not that it's going to be hard, it's just that a lot of Klingons want to kill Federations.
Yeah.
Well, and now if the Feds have an option to not fight the Klingons, who are a little beefier in some areas.
I honestly disagree. I mean, honestly, even if the Klingons have a leg up in PvP, I'm going to want to hop on in there with, with my Excalibur class or whatever and go to town.
if that logic held true, then nobody would be playing PvP now.
I guess, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm still going to play Klingon.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
feel
wanna
too
kill
strongly about
Klingons,
this
yeah.
either way. I'm just kind of voicing the community opinions on the whole thing. And I'm
I hear
a little
you.
bit surprised with the fact that they did go forward with introducing it when
Yeah.
there was so much outcry against it.
Yeah. I didn't think that would happen because I thought they wouldn't want to devalue the Klingon
Exactly.
aspect of playing Klingons.
Klingons
But-
are already, like we've said, the redheaded stepchild of the.
It's almost like
Why
it's like
devalue
almost
them
like a
even
free
further?
market though. If at this point, if there's not enough reasons to play the Klingons, and they were going to die out anyways. So
Dude, the moon exploded. They don't have that long to live, you
Right.
guys. I mean, Praxis is
we can't
gone.
be killing all of them.
Let them die.
See? I mean, come on. That happened a long effing time ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course they're the redheaded stepchild. They were when Kirk was kicking. So
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to talk really briefly about some of these lifetime perks.
Yeah, they're interesting.
So the captain's table private social zone. What the heck is that?
We'll hopefully have some footage for at the end of the
Yeah, I
episode.
got quite a bit of footage of it.
Okay.
Is it
I'll splice
awesome?
that in.
It's
pretty,
cool.
but again, it's like this area that
It's
you go
unnecessary.
and
Here's what it is. Well,
not
here's
do
why it's
anything.
cool. Here's why it's cool. It's extremely, essentially, it's the most exclusive spot in Star Trek Online.
Yes, it's lifetime members only.
Nice.
And devs.
Yeah, and devs.
And there's devs just hanging out in zone chat.
not
that's
so
kinda
far,
cool.
but that's one of the reasons that
But they'd be there theoretically.
Theoretically.
Stahl mentioned that one of the reasons they wanted to implement this is in case they wanted to have lifetime member only dev chats, they could do it in this zone.
In zone.
Oh, that
in the
kind of
zone
makes
chat.
sense.
And
I
I've
dig
gone
that,
in
yeah.
there, and every time I've only been in there a couple times because just to check it out. But everyone was the chat in there, the chat room in there, zone chat was super cool. Mm-hmm. People are really cool in there, and on top of that, it just looks amazing. It's like in this weird space-time rift,
called the Enigma Nebula.
and you go in. Yeah, it's supposed to be a nebula, but it looks like a rift.
Why don't
Yeah.
you just make it the Nexus?
Oh, the Nexus would have been awesome.
Because it's hard to get out of the Nexus.
And the other thing is,
No,
you
there's
would
it's
have to
not.
put
All
Kirk-
you have
Kirk
to
in
do
there.
is go find some old guy and make eggs with him and jump over a thing with a horse, and you're out.
well, they've made some weird implications. When you get there, they say that you might see famous people from the Star Trek timeline from all the different years because time has no meaning here.
well, but that just
So it's like
allows
the
them to
pseudo
put,
Nexus?
it's sort of like
Why they
Except
create a
for
new
you don't
thing?
leave
Why
a
not just
copy.
make it the Nexus?
so it doesn't move around like the Nexus, and you don't leave a copy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Why not?
But
the people that you encounter
yeah,
there
yeah.
are just people like Captain J-Rod from the Klingon High Council or whatever.
Yeah, the
Admiral
wars. There's no
Zell
wars
is
in
in
there.
Captain
At the
J-Rod.
captain's table, there's no war. So like, there's a Hirogen in there. There's Klingons in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a weird looking Orion admiral with a Klingon looking forehead, like she might be a crossbreed or something.
So now the rest of these whole lifetime perks, though, mostly is around making sure other people know you paid lifetime. Like the special titles, quote unquote, career officer.
You can put career officer over your head.
That's cute.
When you're in the Star Trek Online forums, your name is now Blue.
Except mine isn't. And I don't know why.
Oh.
But I posted there recently and it's not. But you can go there. If you go
I
there,
haven't
you
checked.
check out people posting in threads that are lifetimers have like
You
a special.
checked though.
Like, yeah, I did.
So you care enough to check.
You do.
I think it's a little bit snooty.
It's
But you're kinda snooty.
Yeah,
yeah,
you are kinda-
You guys kind of snooty.
you're a little uppity there, huh? Big guy.
I'm kind of afraid that it's going to throw a schism between the player base, that maybe it'll look like Cryptic. I mean, obviously they care about people that are going to pay lifetime for their game.
What's the difference?
But do they care a
though?
little too much about these people that aren't actually paying them any money anymore? You know, they're just big investors up front. If this game goes on for a year,
so what do you
or two,
want them to do? If they turn around, you want them to give you the middle finger?
No, but I don't think that they should put us on a pedestal. I think that they should just
Well, if you think about it, the people like us who bought or very early on, pre-ordered even, we essentially invested our money in them launching this game.
Yes.
So you could almost look at us as...
We also invested in Champions Online for sort of the same reasons.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you could look at us as investors in the company. So I don't think it's that unfair that we have special titles.
You could look at us as investors from the company, but that's
ridiculous.
No, that's,
But I mean, customers, really.
We just
were the initial.
Game,
we were the most, the passionate first. I mean, they're just trying to say thank you.
But even if they didn't offer us anything special, how is that any different from anything else? I mean, early adopters of the iPhone paid like $400 extra for this thing. They didn't get nothing for it. I think they ended up.
They got
getting
a
like
terrible phone, is what they got. Yeah, just a horrible phone.
So, but I'm not following what your connection is.
I'm just saying it's not
either.
It's not exactly an industry standard to throw so much love on your early adopters.
So then it's a really cool thing they're doing that not everybody else does, and it's a really nice thing.
Come on,
is that what you're saying?
It's not terrible. I'm just worried about.
So there's three items that they gave to lifetime subscribers.
Captain's
Two
Table.
of them took absolutely no time at all in comparison. Because come on, it's just
I'm not
titles
dogging
and
on
colors.
you. I'm just trying to see what your point is.
So it's not like it's that big of a deal. It doesn't take much time.
I don't want people that buy the game in 6 months or so and aren't lifetimers to suddenly hate all of the blue names on the forums
still buy
just because
Lifetime.
they're hoity-toity special
You know what?
people.
You can
You're
buy
right.
Lifetime.
You're
You
right.
can.
You're right. What they should do is everyone who's lifetime in the forum just looks normal. If you're not lifetime, it puts in parentheses after your name, asshole. And that's it.
I mean, okay, we should move on. But I'm just saying, if
That's
they
how
don't
it's
like it,
gonna
they
work,
can go buy a
ladies and gentlemen.
Lifetime thing and shut up. I don't know. All right, so we should move on because there's a lot talking about that.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, what?
All right. So are we good? We're good on season 1?
Yeah, those are kind of the major points.
Moving past season 1. All right. We got a new engineering report out.
Yes, sir, we do.
It's very, very fancy.
Actually, it's not much different than the earlier, except
Jeremy, it's very, very fancy.
I withdraw my point.
No, it's boring. They're engineering reports. They're
What's
boring.
your point, big guy?
Well, but again, we talked about this before, that it's nice to see them communicating with us so openly.
And what's really nice about it too is if you are a tribble player testing the stuff, you know what to look for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is very nice.
Yeah, because I literally was like, I'm going to jump on tribble, and I thought,
What am I doing here?
yeah, what's my goal? And I the engineering report, and that's
Right.
That was
Now,
it.
the big thing that they did add to this new version is right there, that Chris is just now getting to it down a little bit further.
Oh, okay.
Is they added months. Approximate target dates
snap.
for some
Oh,
of
I
these new
like
features.
So
coming.
memory alpha improvements, is that code for
New
crafting?
crafting, yes.
In
also,
April.
the difficulty slider, the death penalty, full auto fire. Look at all this stuff for April.
April's
a lot of
big.
stuff.
Mhm. All this first chunk of stuff is all April.
Yep. And now
That
let's
is
see if they can
not
stick to it.
Wow.
Bad.
But yeah, those are some major things that I was
The
personally
original
hoping.
series female mini dress update, April. That's the only one that matters here.
That's
everything else-
That's the full body
Well,
dress.
did you notice
It's like
this
the
one?
wraparound and everything.
The mini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 2 update in July.
Season 2 update in July.
That's pretty rapid.
Yeah.
I like
They're
that.
moving.
They're cranking through this stuff. New content all the freaking time.
Absolutely.
So that's great and all. All right, let's. We got one more thing to talk about before we talk about one thing.
Before one thing.
Yeah,
and
there's-
then we one thing.
There's an item, and then
there's
prior
another
to the
thing.
item, correct. All right, so there's a new
This is just something
problem.
I mentioned. I felt like mentioning. By the time
Lay
this
it on
show
me.
comes out, it might be a little bit of old news. But there's a huge PvP bug that was introduced with season 1.
An exploit, perhaps?
No,
Oh.
it was actually several people entering PvP maps ended up losing all of their levels. You would become Admiral -39 or Captain -29.
What happens?
They're going through person by person in their database and trying to fix it on a per person.
What happens to
basis.
that player though? Can they just?
They're just effed. They're effed until they get fixed.
Wow.
So what they did is once they discovered it, they shut off PvP server wide, so nobody could participate and hopefully not suffer from this bug.
So is PvP down right now?
It might be fixed by now, and it probably will be by the time you guys
Wow.
are seeing this episode.
Oh yeah, Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Mother of
That's a bug.
mercy.
That
That's
is
a
a
bug.
huge ass bug. Now, one of the interesting part about this is that Code Ranger came out and not only did us a nice little postmortem that we'll put. He tells us exactly why it happened, how it
Yeah.
happened, and how they're going to prevent it from happening in the future.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Which is great for their transparency.
Yeah, that helps a
idea
ton.
that they were trying to bring across. But the initial posts were basically, we know why this happened, but it wasn't supposed. This code wasn't even supposed to be on Tribble yet.
The report is that they think that was fixed as of yesterday.
Good.
Oh, okay, good.
So, but that code wasn't even supposed to be on Tribble yet, and it somehow snuck through into their live build.
I'm telling you, guys, code is sneaky.
Yeah.
You write some code, and you're just like, whoa, where'd it go? And
Looks
you're
like
like
they're-
running all over the house. You're like, where's the code? Where's the code?
Can you just imagine all the fires they were putting out that day?
You want
when
to
they
make your
learned
head go crazy. At my house, there's 2 developers living there. Oh my God, there's so much sneaky code.
That is sneaky.
There's sneaky. All right, there's one other bug I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a big bug, and everyone at Cryptic should be scrambling to fix this one. Jack Emmert did an interview over at thebigfreaks.com.
Yeah, he did.
And that's terrible.
There's a number of aspects to this bug, and I'll give you the steps to reproduce this later. But,
it's reproducible?
Yeah, it's reproducible. It's a very bad bug. One, who the F are the bigfreaks.com?
Yeah, these
That's
guys came
number
out of
one.
nowhere.
They don't exist.
They do a big freaking podcast.
It's a good write-up. Is this their show notes?
Yeah, well, that's the article that it was attached. Now, I didn't know that there was a podcast at first.
Oh,
because
look at
somebody
the
gave
number.
me that
Look at the
article.
nice big number of digs they've got.
One.
Now, what you do when you want to go to podcast? And
The
not make a
other
splash?
bug item is that Jack Emmert was on a different show than ours. So
That is a very major
there's
problem.
2 issues there. If you guys could fix that problem,
And we're happy to help you
that'd
through
be
that.
great.
We have resources at our
I think
disposal.
they got it. I think they got
You
it.
think you think we've got it? Do you think we need to go into their system and file an official bug? Because I will.
A whill.
I think we got it.
Mother of
So,
mercy.
but he did mention a few things on there that I wanted to bring up, and the fact that he finally gave us an approximate number of their subscribers. He says
Yeah.
at one point they have,
Over 100,000.
quote, well over 100,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Now, you could read into that it's 190.
What was that number
Or you
we
could say
figured?
110.
102.
All right, what's the what's the monthly?
15, right? 15.
So,
Yeah, if you pay monthly. so it's like-
$15.
Yeah.
15
How do we know how many lifetimers there are?
No.
No.
Let's just say 10,000.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
let's say
let's just
10,000.
say roughly 100,000 people.
100,000 people.
All right, well that's nice.
1.5 million.
That's
Move your calculator
1.5 million.
Move the calculator down a little
Yeah,
bit.
you know,
So we
is
put it on the screen. Move it. Just there we go.
There,
this
that's
is
the
it
proof.
right here. Hold on,
Math.
guys. I'm gonna make this a little bit easier. Let's use the scientific calculator.
Yeah.
But then your math
Let's-
went away.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I think it's more. There we go. Programming calculator. That's
Okay.
much better.
Okay, good. That's a good chunk of change.
1.5 million a month.
1.5. Well,
No,
no,
they're
hold
probably
on.
not making that
Hold
much
on.
because
Now let's
many
think
people
about
bought
that.
6 months. Many people
Yeah.
bought lifetimes.
Yeah.
And
Now at 1.5 million a month,
And-
let's assume that after paying programmers and designers and leads and
And Atari
CEOs and everyone else,
and marketing.
an average of 90,000 per person, right? So let's divide that by 90,000. That's only about 16 employees.
yeah, that's not very many. Because
No,
it
wait,
says
sorry,
they've
that would
got-
be 90,000 a month. That's not right.
So
Hold
multiply
on.
that by 12. Just multiply that by 12. 16 by 12.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyways.
There we go. 192 employees.
employees.
Yeah.
I don't think they have that many.
No, it's around 60.
But they have production. They have the new investment costs that they've made.
Man,
They're
you're living up to your math name there, Jeremy.
Good job, buddy.
I just looked at that number and I'm like, why no math, no work day?
Then
Yeah.
I just swooped in like a superhero and
Where's your
remapped it
math
for
cape,
you.
buddy? You should have brought your math cape.
Oh, what is wrong with me? Good Lord.
All right, is there anything else we want to get into before we move on to the math segment?
Yeah, I actually
Have we
also
covered how
wanted to
Jack
mention-
Emmert made a huge mistake by going on thebigfreaks.com?
Yes, we did. But
Okay.
one of the
Oh,
comments
okay.
that he said on there is something that I've thought a lot about as well as a longtime MMO player.
Okay.
Is the fact that
I believe you.
he went on a big old rant about how World of Warcraft has completely changed the way that people look at modern MMOs, and that they are always judged now as if the release date is the finished product, and compared against World of Warcraft that's been out for 4+ years now.
Yep. Tough market.
It is an extremely
rough.
tough market. And,
Man, must be hard to make video games.
yep.
Must be a real
The thing that I
challenge.
found interesting is the fact that he kind of used it as an excuse. You know, like, oh, well, our game was good enough, just people didn't think so because they were comparing it to WoW. No, that's a cop-out. That's what I call that, as a cop-out.
You think so? I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh, dude, that's
I
totally
think-
a cop-out.
I think if that's the way that the market has changed, then you have to try harder.
But I mean that's like someone saying, "Oh, I'm not going to make Age of Empires because it's so hard because StarCraft exists already."
Yeah.
So I'm just not gonna make a real-time strategy ever again.
But you don't just not. You just have to try harder.
you have an awesome idea. That's why you made the game in the first place. If you didn't have an awesome idea, you should have made a different kind.
You know what you
of
do?
game.
Here's my opinion. Here's what you do.
yeah.
Lay it on me.
You should have made it smaller. Now I know that sounds ridiculous.
More intimate, perhaps.
But because to Jeremy sitting in the middle, this game seems tiny because you see every detail from beginning to end. When my brother sits down and plays the game, this seems like the biggest game he's ever seen in
Because
his
the
life.
scope right when you hit it is quite
It's
large.
massive.
Yeah.
So you know what you
Honestly,
do?
that's how it feels to me.
You know what you do? You put the Klingons out at the 6-month patch. You didn't do the Klingons at all. You focused on making the Federation content 100%.
Yeah.
And then you launched the Klingons. And
I
everybody's
completely
like,
agree.
oh my God, not only Star Trek Online is amazing,
Yeah.
but they just added the Klingons.
I completely
And that would have
agree.
been a complete flip from what we had.
Yep. If this game didn't
Just
try
saying.
to be so much more, they could have made it. Yeah. No, I agree.
You know,
I don't have
actually,
to restate your point.
I think both you guys are absolutely right. I think they should have taken it even further, and instead of just releasing the game we've got now, release a game that's essentially whack-a-mole only with Bajorans.
Oh my God, you know what'd be awesome? Hold on,
And
I just
that's
got a
it.
great idea.
that would have
do?
made me happy for 6 months at least.
Game launches, it's the TOS universe. Then the next season comes out like a year down the road. Make it awesome. Next season is the movie genre.
Wait a minute.
So you move it forward through the time. It'd be awesome. Like that Star Trek Legends game, only good.
But wouldn't
Legacy.
your character end up being like 400 years old?
My character is 400 years old.
Oh, that's true.
That's right.
So you just make everybody Borg.
Wait, yeah. It's those nanoprobes. They keep your cells
Dude, plus
regenerated.
Vulcans live a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Pretty long.
Pretty long.
Yeah.
And I bet you can find technology, make it better,
Yeah.
stronger,
Nanoprobes.
faster,
Yeah, harder.
Word.
harder.
Yeah.
All right. So
Definitely harder.
Anything else in the top of the show before we move on?
Nah.
No.
What do you say we go right into a little bit of what I like to call math? In this segment of You Got Math, we're going to be covering ship energy levels and all the ways to tweak your ship to have the best performance that you can possibly have. Now, before we actually get into the nitty-gritty, the math, I want to give you a little bit of an overview. We've already covered this in our ship tutorials earlier, but I just want to cover it again because some people don't even understand that they can change their ship energy levels. If you go down here to your ship energy level UI, there's a few buttons across the top. These are just change your energy levels for you. They're really simple: attack, defense, speed, and balanced. But right next to that is a fancy little button that when you click it, type 1 is the default that it starts with. Type 2 will give you an actual visual presentation of your power levels. Type 3 is the same as 2, but it's also completely customizable, and it adds a couple buttons here. One of them is to save your preset, and the other one is to reset back to the default preset. These will be handy if you decide that you want to tweak your power settings. You need to do it from the third setting. All right, so let's move into what the actual energy does for you. Left to right, we'll just go right down the line. Weapon energy will affect your energy weapon's damage output. Notice I only said energy weapons. These don't affect projectile weapon damage done. But if your weapon system ever reaches 0, you can't launch torpedoes or mines. Your shield energy affects only your shield regeneration rate. There were some misconceptions earlier on that it also affected your total amount of shields, but it's really nothing but your regen. Your engine energy affects your movement speed, and your auxiliary energy affects, get this, hull repair, turn rate, stealth detection, and the power and or duration of many different science-y type abilities. Again, we're going to go right down the line here and tell you what, in the fine details, in the math, each of these do for you. Right about now, folks, you're going to be seeing a chart. It's fancy. I made it myself. Love it. This is an explanation of what the power levels do for your energy weapons. What this basically boils down to is that every point of power above or below a setting of 50 equals a 2% damage difference. Now, this again only affects the power of the weapon when it leaves your ship. Every energy weapon is also affected by the distance between you and your target. So even if you're always running at the same power level, you're going to see a variance in the actual damage that you do to your target based on distance. You're also going to see a variance in your damage because each time you fire an energy weapon, it drains just a little bit of your weapon power. The amount of drain depends on the type of weapon you're firing and the number of weapons firing simultaneously. So watch your weapon power level during combat and make sure you're not overdraining your weapon power. If you dip too far below what you actually have it set at on a regular basis, you'll actually end up doing less DPS because you have too many weapons. I know that seems a little counterintuitive. You think more guns, bigger guns mean more damage, but if you run out of power, then you're basically throwing rocks out your windows at them. So if your power is dipping really low on a regular basis, try replacing some of your heavy power drain weapons with ones that drain less power. Which ones are those? Well, let me tell you. All cannons and all beams drain 10 power per shot, but there's a catch to that. Beams fire much faster than cannons. So all beams end up draining more weapon power than cannons. Heavy cannons actually end up draining less over the long run because they fire fewer shot in bigger bursts. Turrets only drain 8 power per shot, but they're also 360 degrees. They actually end up drawing more power than a cannon does, even though it's less per shot because they're always firing. Now, you can offset the drain of these energy weapons by investing in EPS flow regulators. That's an engineering console. If you find yourself in a situation where you like the weapons you have, but they're draining too much power, then make sure that you have abilities like emergency power to weapons, or a red matter capacitor, or just a plain old weapon battery. Because again, if your power drops too low, you're not doing the damage that you think you're doing. Okay, let's move on to the shield system. Now, you should be seeing another pretty chart that I put together right here. The bottom line of this pretty little chart is that each difference in your energy level, up or down, above or below 50, will equal a 4% difference in your total percentage of regeneration for your shields. Now, I actually didn't know this till I started doing my homework on this. I thought that at 25% there was still something there, but no, it's nothing. If your shield power is only at 25%, your shields will never regenerate. See, one of the reasons that I didn't know this is because unlike weapons, shield tooltips and the regeneration rate listed on them do not update on the fly. Moving on to the system that keeps us moving on, the engine system. Now, the math to figure out your exact speed based on the amount of energy that you put into your engines is actually very complicated, very involved, and I didn't feel like typing it out or making a pretty chart. So there. That being said, it is true that your energy level directly impacts your speeds. However, there are also other factors that will always figure into it. A zero engine power will always cause you to stop, and this is important to note, it cuts your turn rate down to almost nothing. Also, each ship type, whether it be an escort or a cruiser or a science ship for the Fed side, but every ship has a basic what they call an impulse modifier. The Klingon ships are a little more nebulous. They're not so clearly defined. These are listed in the shipyard consoles, at the shipyards. Basically, this is a modifier that affects the engines you have equipped. So an escort and a science ship with the same engine will actually go different speeds. Your maximum bonus that you can get out of your engine energy is normalized and controlled by the tier of your ship. But I would also like to note that engine power has no effect on your warp speed when you're traveling in sector space. And that brings us to the final of the four systems associated with every starship, auxiliary. What is auxiliary? Well, it's everything else, basically. It controls your turn rate, your hull repair, stealth detection, science abilities, the color of your unicorns, everything. But let me just cover a few of the things that it actually does. Your turn rate, well, actually, just like engine speed, it's extremely complicated, but here's a few quick things about it that you can just keep in mind. I'm not going to do all of the math for you because you don't need to. If you know these general tips, then you can figure out the rest. Zero aux power will cause you to almost completely be unable to turn. Since your engine system will probably still be online, you'll just keep going in a straight line. Your turn rate is always calculated in degrees per second. Now that's based on 360 degrees in a circle, and it's unaffected by your engine speed. But if you recall, when we discussed on a previous You Got Math, the faster you're going, the bigger of an arc you'll end up doing. Whereas if you're turning slowly, you'll make a tighter circle. You're still turning at the same rate. It's just the amount of space that you have to travel to actually get around. Now, the total possible bonus of a high aux power level is never going to turn a cruiser into an escort in terms of maneuverability. They don't have the power. But by the same token, escorts will always benefit far more from auxiliary in terms of maneuverability due to their higher innate turn rate. It's actually a multiplier of the base. So that's all I've got on turn rate. Like I said, it's very complicated. So we'll just move on to the next thing that auxiliary has any control over, and that is hull repair. The calculations for this are actually totally unknown. I'm sorry, I couldn't find any math. I couldn't find any guesses. All I have is basically the variables that it's based upon. It's based on your auxiliary power, obviously. It's also based on your crew level, and it's based on some of the passive captain skills. And then there's, of course, investing in each individual ship type. Now, the longer the battle, the more hull repair will matter. So if you're going up against a big ship that you think is going to take you a long time to kill, like maybe a tactical cube, might be a good idea to put it into auxiliary if you're coming under fire, because basically every percentage of hull that you repair is like an extra percentage worth of hit points. Now, speaking of percentages, hull repair is always based on a percentage of your total hull. So even if you invest in a very high hull rate for your ship, let's say you have a cruiser with massive armor and you've got all the skills that make your hull very large, you're not nerfing yourself by doing that because your repair rate will always be based on a percentage of your overall hull points. Now, what about stealth detection? Well, that is also affected by your auxiliary level. Basically, escorts and cruisers are about 1/3 as effective as a science ship at finding stealth ships. Now, you can improve that by upping your aux levels, but again, because it's a multiplier of the base, science ships are always going to be better at the same level of auxiliary power. But there are other stats that you can invest in that might help you find things. There are starship operations training, starship sensors, and starship sensor array. Now, those are both from items and from the skills. Now, as for the effect that auxiliary has on several different, primarily science-type abilities, that's actually determined on a per-ability basis. I'm not going to go through every single power in the game, but I can give you a couple little tips. It's always going to affect either the duration or the magnitude, and by magnitude, I mean like in a tachyon beam, it'll increase the amount of shield drain per tick. However, there are also abilities that are not affected by auxiliary at all, even though you would expect them to be. To check this, the tooltips will update on the fly as you shift around your auxiliary powers. So just have the power up, change your power levels, and see if the numbers change. Now, I know that I didn't cover everything here because ship energy is actually a gigantic topic. There are others out there that have done a much better job of looking into the actual effect that these things have on your gameplay ability. One of those is a WordPress blog that many of the more hardcore math fans have probably already found on their own. It's called The Engines Kinda Take It. I'm going to plug him right here because at least half of the information that you just heard in the math segment was assisted by the research that he's done on his blog. So not only a nice big thanks to that dude over at The Engines Kinda Take It, but you can thank him as well. You can also go over there and find those complicated calculations regarding auxiliary turning rate and engine speed that I didn't list here. They're very involved, but if you would like to read up on those, that's where you can do it. So in closing, now that you know exactly what each of these individual energy types do for you, go play around with your energy levels, determine the best way that you run your ship, and if you have any specific feedback you'd like to give to me regarding this math segment, send it to Jeremy at jupiterbroadcasting.com. And we'll see you next time for another segment of You Got Math.
Hey, Jeremy, I just want to thank you real quick for the math.
Great math, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Great math.
Do you like my pretty charts too?
I love all
yet?
of your pretty charts. I looked at your charts
As of
over
filming
and
this,
over
I
again.
haven't done the charts yet. So I hope they were awesome.
Oh,
Cool. Do you know how to make charts?
yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Excel's great, right?
I mean, I already did figure it out, right?
Hey, before we jump into the media, we got some cool stuff to show folks. What do we have? We have the Big Dig.
Yeah, that's right.
We got
Yes.
Borg Tribble.
Uh-huh.
But let's talk about how to get a hold of us.
Sure.
So you can head over to the forum. That's probably the best way. That's jupitercolony.com. Section in there just for Stoked. It's awesome.
That's this show, by the way.
Yes.
There's also the Facebook page. Mm-hmm.
JupiterColony.com is not the Facebook page.
No.
Facebook.com/JupiterBroadcasting.
How many times have I said various forms of contact? It's like I just start speaking and then my brain goes, well, it's going to be a form of contact, so
Yeah. Brain puke.
brain puke,
And
guys.
then you can, we're changing email addresses, but until we change it, just email Jeremy.
That's
Jeremy.
me. Jeremy at jupiterbroadcasting.com.
And
I
seriously,
might not be able to respond to all you guys. In fact,
no,
I
he totally
probably
can.
will not
He
respond
totally
to
can.
any
Jeremy,
of you guys.
Jeremy
but
totally can. However, I will not. If
But
you
what I
email me,
do-
I will not reply to you.
What I do is I print out all your emails and then I look at these guys and then we circle all the funny misspellings and we laugh at you
No.
over lunch.
Dude, that's killing a lot of trees.
We do whatever. We import them into Google Docs and we do it electronically.
We do.
No, I kid.
No, we don't.
we don't do crap.
Anything else before we show the Tribble? Because
But
I
I
want to
read
talk about
them.
this.
Spam folder.
Now,
Yeah, show that.
let's do a little Tribble. Now, this Tribble guy was the special perk, right? This was the perk Tribble you got if you were awesome and hanging out on Tribble for an hour last weekend.
Yeah.
So you can't get this now. Well, maybe they'll give it out soon.
It'll probably be on the C-store
But
eventually.
check that Borg Tribble out, right?
And the cool part about this is when you take it out to pet it, it does the regular tribble purr,
Yeah.
but then it also does a bunch of random sound effects. Some of them just sound like computers. Some of them sound like those old modems from the 80s. And it goes when you pull it out.
Yeah.
And other times it says stuff about like unknown code 47, stuff like that.
Oh,
And
good.
it's not all for show.
No, it's got stats.
Tribble of Borg. How adorable is that? It targets itself, which is good, right?
Right.
Applies Tribble damage, resist buff. Applies damage buff versus Borg. Petting this assimilated Tribble will have the effect of slightly stimulating the body's natural ability to resist all types of damage. Your natural ability, guys. Additionally, this
Natural
Tribble has
ability.
been wired to the collective and will grant you insight.
Insight. Spelled it wrong. Insight.
Wow, they spelled insight wrong. They spelled it like the other kind, like
Yeah.
you're going to incite violence.
Right. No, insight should be an INSI.
To vulnerabilities, granting you a small
You got
damage bonus to the
Englished.
Borg.
Man. Dude.
Yeah, so this actually gives you the same type of damage buff as the epic tribbles you can already breed on your own. So it's like
Using like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and stuff that doesn't make any
Banana
sense at
pancakes
all.
and-
also,
Delicious, though.
Klingon
where's the
gaff.
tribble's mouth?
oh, it's underneath. It's the part that you hold in the palm of your hand when you.
Nope.
No, is that its pooper?
Where's its mouth?
Do you
But
just-
it is canon for Tribbles to eat, so you can't give it a hard time. That's what
Yeah.
they did on the ship. They ate.
They ate and made babies.
They ate the grain.
Maybe they used the
They
same
ate
hole
the
for
stuff in the
everything.
food.
They ate peanut butter and jelly
synthesizer.
sandwiches.
No, it was
They ate Captain Kirk's.
Nice.
They ate Captain Kirk's chicken soup.
That's
That's
right.
That's right. You did. Oh, man.
Store.jupiterbroadcasting.com. That's where you can buy yourself something and support our shows. We have everything
That's
on there
right.
from our gear that we use, awesome Star Trek stuff like every Star Trek comic book published between 1967 and 2002, all on a DVD. What's up? As well as some swag
Oh, man.
like tauntauns.
You guys. Oh my God, my arm is inside the shirt.
Right?
I was feeling that
Your arm
shirt
is
model
inside
up
a
is
shirt.
what I was doing right there. I went under the shirt. Right
So
there.
definitely check out store.jupiterbroadcasting.com.
And check it out on a regular basis because we will continue to add cool stuff to it.
bit by bit.
And of course, you can also go click the link over at store or JupiterBroadcasting.com. There's like an R store.
Yeah, see, you're doing it too, man.
I know,
You
yeah.
should start rattling off these URLs.
You know what we need to do to fix
They're all the
it?
same.
I need me a little media. Let's roll the media segment.